Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit more about Barcelona's huge victory against Benfica yesterday in the Champions League. Talk about that comeback in a little bit more detail. I know all of us went through somewhat of a roller coaster of emotions. Barcelona, they did make us suffer, but we did get the 3 points, qualifying ourselves for the round of 16 in the top 8. And we're also going to be talking about two players later on who were, impact subs and were very good in their cameo. But guys, as always, make sure you're following me on all of my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the description. Go over there to check me out and make sure you guys are staying up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get started with the video. All right, guys, let's get started with the video and let's talk about Raphinha, who was the man of the match in yesterday's performance against yesterday's match against Benfica. And he starts off by saying, "We knew it would be a very difficult match. I know how hard it is to play here in front of their fans. They play very well and have top level players. We didn't give up after the 3-1 in the first half. We came back, focused on our game to try to turn the match around. It was a spectacular game for everyone. Benfica could have won it, or we could have, but we ended up taking it." And Raphinha, he does talk about the match. I agree with what a lot he said there. It was a very entertaining game for the neutrals. But if you're, a fan of either of the two teams, you're thinking, man, we made a lot of mistakes and there's lots to work on. And I'm glad that Barcelona, they got the 3 points. I'm glad that we showed that mental resilience in the second half, but we made a lot of mistakes. Barcelona, we did not play well in that first half. Szczesny made some very dire mistakes that cost Barcelona to be down 3-1. And on another day, Barcelona, we could have suffered. We could have lost, and it was a bad day in the Champions League, and those type of days can knock you out of the competition. And obviously, you're happy Hansi Flick, you praise the team's mentality, their mental fortitude, but when you think back retroactively and you analyze the match, you realize that we did make a lot of mistakes. But Raphinha, he continues on. He talks about the fights and the incidents after the match. There was a little conflict in the tunnel as the players were walking out. He says, "I'm a person who respects everyone. When I was leaving the pitch, some people insulted me. I responded to the insults. I know I shouldn't do it, but I did. Things got heated, but the Benfica players preferred to insult me. Benfica's side could have handled it better. If they respect me, I respect them, but I won't stay quiet if I'm insulted. It's normal in football after a game like this, and it's completely understandable that things like these happen, and it's completely normal." And Raphinha, he now talks about his current performances. He says, "I think I'm in the best moment of my career." And he even talks about the referees compared to the Champions League in La Liga. He says, "If I say what I think, I won't play in the league again." And we all know how bad the referees in La Liga are. And when Barcelona, we were awarded 2 penalties against Benfica, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I daydreaming? But we all know what Raphinha is thinking at the moment. And we talk about Raphinha in the Champions League, guys. He is absolutely outstanding, absolutely world class. Raphinha this season, he's the player who has the most direct goal contributions, 10 in 7 matches, the most in the Champions League this season. And we look at Raphinha in the Champions League since the beginning of 2024, he has 11 goals and 3 assists in 656 minutes, averaging a 1.92 GA per 90 minutes. And those are goals against PSG, 3 goals against PSG in the 2 legs, a goal and assist versus Young Boys, a hat trick against Bayern Munich, a goal and assist against Red Star, a goal against Borussia Dortmund, and a brace against Benfica. Raphinha in the Champions League, he's been showing up against the biggest of teams, and he's showing it in the biggest competition. And that is something to praise. I completely agree with Raphinha that he is in the biggest, and greatest moment of his career so far. And I also want to give praise to Robert Lewandowski for dispatching those two penalties. And he is now the top goal scorer in the Champions League and as well in La Liga. Even though Robert Lewandowski, he didn't have the best game against Benfica, he was clutch. He scored the goals that Barcelona they needed. And with that, he is the top goal scorer with 9 goals. And in La Liga, he has 16. And so far, he has assisted 3 more this season in the 29 matches. And as well, when we talk about the team as a whole, Barcelona, for the first time in our history, guys, we have won a Champions League match after being 2 goals down, and that is something that I'm most excited about. Because Barcelona, they're a team, and when things aren't going our way, we struggle, we collapse. But yesterday was a test, and Barcelona, they were able to surpass that, and that's something that I applaud. I know we didn't play the greatest. I know we made tons of mistakes, and we weren't at our best. But Barcelona, we still got the victory, and that's something that is very, very reminiscent of what Real Madrid do. And we know, what titles Real Madrid have won. But now, guys, I want to be moving on. I want to be talking about Szczesny, because Szczesny, he also spoke, after the match. He gave his thoughts about his performance, and especially about, this tackle right here against Balde, and this mistake, really. And he talks about it, and he says, "I think the timing of my exit was good, but Balde didn't hear me. Luckily, it was just a goal, and we ended up winning. It was a misunderstanding, but these things happen when both go for the ball. I shouted. He didn't hear. It was a bit comical, but we won." And I know a lot of people right now are questioning Szczesny on saying, hey, whether he should be starting right now, whether he should, be in the conversation to be the starting goalkeeper in the Champions League. But we do have to know that Szczesny, he is coming back from retirement. He needs to get back into the swing of things. And, Szczesny, he talks about it, even then. He says, "I didn't expect to play yesterday, but my goal is to help the team, whether from the pitch or the bench." And Szczesny, once he gets back into the swing of things, I do think that he's going to be showing that much better performance that he does have in his locker, that better level that he does have. And Szczesny continues on. He says, "I've never played with such a high defensive line. Wenger demanded a lot from the goalkeeper, but here the players are so far from me. Even at 34, you can still learn. It's a great experience." He says, "The save against Di Maria wasn't redemption. It was frustration and my way of helping while we were pushing for the win and defending with just 2 players. We could have accepted the 4-4, but we wanted the victory. That's the Barca culture." And in regards to that, save against Di Maria, he's talking about this occasion right here in which, Di Maria, he had a chance to seal the victory for Benfica, but Szczesny denied him and he said no. Szczesny continues on. He talks about the 3rd goal, and he says, "For the 3rd goal on the field, I thought there wasn't any contact, but after seeing the replay, it was a penalty. I admit my mistake there." He takes up the responsibility for that mistake. And, I say, that's a very, very soft penalty to call. Szczesny, he gets contact, but it's slight. It's like toe against toe. Like, come on. But, Szczesny, he didn't have the best of the first half. He had an atrocious first half, for being honest, guys. But he did make up for it in the second half, with that save against Di Maria. And, Szczesny, he is a player that divides opinion right now. But we're going to have to see how Hansi Flick handles him. We do know that he basically said, hey, everyone makes mistakes. We just have to move on from it. And we're going to have to see what Hansi Flick does in the future. But I also now want to give credit to both the substitutions that Hansi Flick, he did make in that second half in regards to Eric Garcia and Ferran Torres. Because we do know in the last trip against Benfica, Eric Garcia, we did suffer. And he actually was sent off in the 86th minute. And Darwin Núñez made a mess of him. When you think back when Barcelona were last year under Ronald Koeman, we had that disastrous defeat, that 3-0 defeat. And Eric Garcia, he did have his redemption, scoring the equalizer for Barcelona. And what a pass from Pedri as well. Shout out to Pedri. But Eric Garcia, a player who is showing value in the squad. And as well, it was his 7th goal in basically a year and a half. And I always say, Eric Garcia is a player that you want to have in your squad just because he can give you that value off the bench and he could give that rest to your starters and everything. And I am so happy looking at the reports right now that Barcelona have decided to keep Eric Garcia at least until the summer. And I am so happy with that because Barcelona right now, we're not in a position to say, hey, we have options off the bench to just get rid of Eric Garcia. I know Eric Garcia is not going to be a starter, but he is a good option off of the bench. And when you now talk about Ferran Torres, who is, I would say, Barcelona's best option off of the bench, looking at his performances in the Champions League, right now he has 2 goals away at Borussia Dortmund to win the match. And as well, he had the game-winning assist against Benfica. And, when Ferran Torres first clears the ball, I'm thinking that's just a clearance and he just is aiming at whatever direction. But no, that was a pinpoint pass to Raphinha. And we all know what happened after. And I want to give credit to both Ferran and Eric Garcia for their impact in their little cameo, after Hansi Flick made those substitutions. And with that, we know that Barcelona right now in the Champions League, we are in second place. We've qualified for the round of 16. And the only way for us to finish in first place is for Liverpool to lose their game against PSV Eindhoven. That is not going to happen. I'm not thinking about that. And Barcelona are going to be avoiding the playoff spot, which is very good. And we're going to be having to, obviously look at the things to improve on. We cannot be making those same mistakes that we made against Benfica, and we have been making, throughout the season. Hansi Flick has to be working on these things in the training session. This team is not, the final product, but we do want to praise the team's mental fortitude and resilience in that second half, because it's very easy to just give up and say, you know what, it's not our day, and just move on. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the words of Raphinha and as well of Szczesny. Who do you guys blame for Szczesny's mistake, Balde or Szczesny? And also, what do you guys make of Eric Garcia and Ferran Torres' impact in that second half? But as always, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.